Hey y'all, and welcome back. I'm Ashley, and today we are doing something a little bit different. Back when I was in my blogging day, when I used to put up like 5 blog posts a day, I loved doing the if we were having lattes or if we were having coffees, and so I figured that today I would try that but in video form. So I have my coffee here, and we are just going to sit down and chat about books and anything else that comes to mind as if we were just sitting right here on my couch having lattes. So I am so glad that you're joining me today. I personally have a coffee that I made from my Keurig with oat milk. I have found that I absolutely love oat milk. It is the closest thing to real milk. Because if you didn't know, I don't drink dairy or I don't eat dairy. So oat milk has become my new favorite thing. It is perfect in coffees or pretty much any recipe. I found this Planet Oat that has the extra creamy oat milk, and it is perfect. I actually probably prefer that over actual milk if I were to still be drinking real milk. So that is what is in my coffee. It is the French vanilla flavor with a teaspoon of sugar. So that is how I prefer my coffee these days. So leave me a comment below and let me know what coffee you would be drinking if you were sitting right here with me. I would love to know because I'm always interested in what people are drinking in their coffees. I've done quite a few videos of my different latte concoctions, and I love playing around with different coffees. I think it is so interesting and so fun, and it just made me feel better in the time where we were not leaving our houses, where we weren't leaving our house. We were stuck at home. Yeah, that it just made me feel more normal. So, enough about coffee. Let's talk about what we've been reading recently. So I have my nice recent reads here, and they are not really in a particular order, nor are they in the order that I actually read them. So I'm just going to go from the pile. My Poor Damaged book is here on top. I got this from Book Outlet, and I was pretty disappointed. I think I mentioned this in a couple of videos. So the one where I was talking about the different book retailers, I talked about how I had like disappointments with each of the 3 book retailers: Book Outlet, Thrift Books, and Better World Books. And this was my disappointment with Book Outlet. It has a huge slash on the cover, and I didn't do it. I knew that because it was on the bottom of the box when I got it from Book Outlet. I actually opened that on an IGTV, so you could see like it was one of the last ones that I pulled out. So I know I didn't cut it, but I was just pretty disappointed with that. So anyway, I took a lot of care in reading this book to make sure that I didn't damage the book any further. And I'm thinking about maybe taping it, but it's just going to go on my shelf now. I don't think I'm going to loan this one out because of this. But I loved the book. Of course, it's Jill Chavez, and I mean, all of her books are so good, and I just can't describe her humor. I mean, it's perfect for the characters. Like, the characters just feel so real with the type of humor that she puts into them and has them say, I don't know, it is just 100% perfect. So I loved this book. It takes place in the mountains in Colorado, and so it's not typically the book that I would read in the summer. But I have been trying to get away from like summer books where it's all about like beaches and islands and all of that jazz, all of that stuff that you think about in the summer. So it was really good, and there's a little bit of tragedy that happens, but it's kind of like off scene. So anyway, I really liked this one. Oh, am I gonna put them? Okay. So this next book, I just finished this last night, and I loved it. It was so good. Hello Summer by Mary Kay Andrews. Mary Kay Andrews is an auto-buy author for me, so I will pretty much pick up anything that she's written. I started off with the Savannah Blues, or this, I don't know, it was the Savannah series with Bebe and Wheezy. if y'all have listened to any of my videos, you know that I am horrible with names. But anyway, so that was the series that I started off for Mary Kay Andrews, and I loved it, and pretty much have loved every one of her books since then. So this is another book that I picked up in the same buy as this Jill Chavez, and it was amazing. I happened to get an international edition, which is pretty cool, but I liked it. It was really good. So I don't think that I've had this before, Mary Kay Andrews books, but she gave me a little bit of a panic there for this one. Like, there's some events here that, like, if I were in Conley's shoes, I would be real nervous. Like, stalking and, like, death, and I mean, I guess the next one I'm about to talk about has death too, but I don't know. This one, I liked it. Y'all, pick it up. Seriously. I mean, it was really good. So, also in the comments, we're just going to have a running list of things that you're going to tell me in the comments. What have you read that you're like, wow, that was really good? Like, your last book that you said that, like, too. And granted, I'm probably going to say this about most of these books because I like most of them, but some of them, even if they're, like, good and they're an auto-buy author for you and you really enjoy them, some of them just hit differently. Like, some of them you might like it, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good, but it doesn't, like, stay with you afterwards. Like, and I think it's sometimes the topic. For this one, the main character, Sarah Conley, is a journalist. She writes for a newspaper, and so, like, the topic of it was, like, really interesting to me just because I feel like as a creator, whether it's, you know, videos or Instagram or anything, like, it just, you feel somewhat of a kindred spirit, I suppose. I think. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, that's that book. But leave me the comment below to let me know what book you have just been like, wow, that was really good. I like reading really good books. Of course, who doesn't, right? Why would you read a book that you didn't like? So the next Mary Kay Andrews was The Weekenders, and I picked this up for Memorial Day weekend, but I don't know if it says it in the description or not, but this book actually starts off Memorial Day weekend. So that was pretty awesome to be able to, like, read it around the same time of, like, that the book starts. Granted, this book is a lot longer than Memorial Day weekend, but The Weekenders, I really enjoyed this one. And again, this was one of the first ones where I remembered having death in a Mary Kay Andrews book. Maybe I've just had, like, a bad memory and I've read about it before, but, like, this one was the first one I was like, wow, she writes about, like, people dying. Like, I don't know. But oh, sometimes the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I just have to laugh at. But anyway, so this one was also really good. I liked that it was kind of based in North Carolina. Obviously it's not a real island, but I read it when I was in North Carolina, so that was pretty awesome. And yeah, I just overall really liked this one. Duh, it's Mary Kay Andrews. I like all of hers. Okay. And the last one. This last one. So, book of the month. I'm really on the fence about continuing my subscription with book of the month. And some of the books that I've read recently from them have just kind of put me off. And the last one before I picked up, was it the last one? I don't remember exactly, but I think it was the last one before I picked up this one, was The Wives by Taryn Fisher, I think. I hated it. Couldn't do it. I didn't like it. I don't know. So anyway, I kind of set it down for a little bit because I think I read The Wives in March? April? Maybe April. And so I didn't pick up anything in May, at least not that I recall. If I did, it wasn't very memorable. Anyway, so I went back because I was doing Blue Spines in May. And, right? Yeah, I think so. Blue Spines in May. So I picked this one up, but I didn't get to it in May. I ended up reading a whole bunch of other stuff, and also Book of the Month, I was a little leery about it, and apparently with good reason, because The Hunting Wives, I didn't like it. I didn't finish it. I was about 100 pages in, and I couldn't get through it. So with The Wives, the one that I read previously, I came to realize that I don't like unlikable characters. They're just not for me. I want somebody, as a character that I can stand behind, that I can root for, that I can be happy with. And the wives kind of showed me that if they're not like that, they're not really for me. And so I get into the Hunting Wives and I'm like, cool, this lady seems like she's gonna be really cool. I knew from the description that she was gonna have a slight obsession, and I'm like, that's okay. Everybody sometimes gets a little obsessed with something. But I really liked that she was going to be a blogger. Like, she was on Facebook and Instagram and trying to grow this like following, and so it like really connected with me until she starts getting into this crowd of the Hunting Wives, and I just couldn't do it. Like, they go out cheating on their husbands, and like, yeah, bad decisions, but it's your own life. Like, just because you do it doesn't have to make, doesn't mean that I'm going to, type of thing. But then when you figure out that one of these wives that's in her upper 30s, lower 40s, somewhere around there, is having an affair with her best friend's 18-year-old son, I couldn't. That was it. I was done. Nope, no more. This is supposed to be a mystery. Like, somebody's supposed to die in this book. I never even got to it, and I was 100 and some pages in. What was I on? 164 pages, and I still had not gotten to the murder. What the heck? I mean, I don't know. Okay, now I'm just ranting. I didn't like it. You might have really enjoyed this if you read this book. If so, leave me a comment below and let me know how it was at the end. I just couldn't get past the 18-year-old thing. I couldn't do it. So, yep, that's it. So those were the books that I've read recently. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you have read recently, because I have, just been enjoying all of the books. I've had a little bit of stress in my life recently, and I've been using books to kind of like let my mind wander to somewhere else. That's been really awesome. I've also had some really cool talks with the owner of the local used bookstore. Well, kind of local. And she and I always love to talk. One time I went in there and I stayed in there for probably about 2 hours, to the point where I had Texan very worried about me because I wasn't answering my phone because I accidentally put it on silent. So, yeah, I enjoyed talking to her, and this last time I went in there asking for recommendations. And so I think that I shared with y'all the books that I got there. There were some local North Carolina books, like written about North Carolina, that I got from there, and one book that she recommended from the author. She said that she thought that I would really like it from my other like things that I've enjoyed, like Mary Kate Andrews and Jill Chavez, and I think Mary Alice Monroe and Dorothea Benton Frank, because I was telling her I don't think I've read any of those two last ones, but I told her that I was buying them because they sounded interesting, and so we'll see what I think about them. I have them on my TBR for this month. I'm looking at my TBR over there, so we'll see. But anyway, she and I were talking about how when you find something that you really enjoy, like, it is totally okay to just stick to that genre, to that author, to, to similar authors that you like, that you don't have to go out and read everything just because other people are doing it. Like, it is absolutely okay to stick to what you enjoy, to use your books as an escape from your life. Like, when I have a lot of stress, I read to escape from that stress, to feel better, because after I put down the book, I notice that I feel a lot more joy and happiness in my life, even though I have stress going on. So I've been really enjoying that, and I am enjoying these books. So that's why when I didn't like this one, I didn't feel pressure to continue reading it. So my camera battery died, so I had to have a little pause there. I went to go warm my coffee up, and so anyway, I have a whole bunch of books that I have on my bookshelf to read, so there's no use in wasting time with a book that you don't like. Even if you don't have a whole bookcase full of books, there is a library out there full of books waiting to be read, and so You can always put down or return a book or do whatever that you don't like and go find a new one that you will like. Speaking of a lot of books to be read, I have a friend who is getting ready to get off for summer break because she is a teacher, and I am so jealous of her right now because she's a little bit of a reader, and we are starting up the Party of Two book club. No, it's not a real thing. I mean, yes, kind of, but we're going to be reading a book together. She just ordered it yesterday, and so she should be getting it today. And so we're going to be reading a book together. So I'm just calling it the Party of Two book club, and it's not really that big of a deal, a real thing, whatever. But you will be seeing stuff on it in the future. So if you want to have a little book chat like this with us, keep an eye out for that. But I'm really jealous of all you teachers out there. I have a ton of teacher friends because I basically went to a teacher college, and they're all getting ready to get out for the summer, and you all have huge TBRs that you just get to read up this summer, and I'm really jealous. I mean, yes, I have plenty of time in the summer to read on Fridays and over the weekends and after my work day has finished, but I'm just jealous of y'all lounging by the pool and getting your read on. I'm so jealous. But anyway, my coffee is about gone, and I thank you so much for joining me today and hanging out with me on the couch. I wanted to do this outside, but it is June and muggy, and I just couldn't do it. It's just too hot. So thank you for joining me, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye, guys.